What is up, internet world, and welcome back to Accelerate. I'm Mike, he's Ian, and today we're bringing the Toyota Prius. Today we bring you our second Toyota ever. The first one was actually a Lexus, but you get the drift. So we have the 2023 Toyota Prius, not the Prime. This is the hybrid version. And the Prius is the first car to carry Toyota's Beyond Zero badge. That is this cute little badge on the back of the Prius, because Toyota is pushing electrification as far as they can go. Yep, in 2025, they're gonna have 70 electrified vehicles. That's a lot, so let's get into this Prius. In the 2023 Toyota Prius, not the Prius Prime, this is the hybrid, not the plug-in hybrid. This makes 196 horsepower and 139 pound-feet of torque. Now, we're gonna do a 0 to 60. Obviously, people are gonna laugh because it's a Prius, but this is a lot faster than the last gen going out. So we're gonna go to our sport mode over there. Foot to the ground, build a little bit of power, and draggy on 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Very smooth. CVT transmission, all-wheel drive. 8.23. All right, I think we can get this thing on about 8. Okay, let's go. Let's put the stability program off. Maybe that'll make a difference. Traction control off. Let's create some power. Come on, we can do this, and go. Better. I felt a little, oh, it's green. What do we got? Come on, 7.78 just by hitting that button? Seriously? That's a big bump, a 0.5 difference? I think it's pretty quick. I've been driving around, I'm like, this is quick for a Prius. This is a huge upgrade from the last model in terms of acceleration and performance. Maybe because it's shaped like a bullet. Yellow bullet. Okay, one more time. Let's go. This feels good. Way better than the first one with the stability program. Okay. What do we got? And 7.46. Man, this is getting quicker and quicker. 7.46. Clappity clap. Prius, that is really good. You should see some other cars that do 7 seconds. Now, there are 3 different trim levels for the Prius that is built in Japan. The first one is the LE with a starting price of $28,545. Then you have the XLE at $31,990. And then finally you have the Limited, their top trim at $35,560. Now that includes a $1,095 destination charge. To the front of the Toyota Parasangue. Take a look at these headlights, how they wrap around the upper front lip of the bumper. It gives me Ferrari vibes and Camaro vibes when I look at this headlight. How did they do this on a Prius? Clap Toyota. Now, this color is also sick. It's like a mustard, but with a little bit of ketchup mixed together. As you focus your eyes into the middle of the bumper, you will see the Toyota badge lines up perfectly with the radar, but not the camera. It's a little bit to the passenger side. Moving down from there, you have your front Parktronics, and then from there you have a mix of 2 colors. You have a graphite gray, and then you have more of a titanium on the bottom. And that's about it. To the side of the Prius. Is it just me, or is this good looking? The side of a Prius, good looking. I know, crazy. Come to the front and I'll show you some stuff. You've got this piano black trim around the fender flares with a mud flap. Then you have 19-inch wheels with this bi-colored rim. You have a bit of grayish titanium on the outside and then this polished interior piece. That's a nice touch from a Toyota. Also, if you notice, there's no chrome. it is all blackened all around here, including these mirror caps with a 360 camera underneath there. Then you have the all-wheel drive badge on the bottom. I like it, as opposed to it being right here like some other manufacturers. As I move along, there's a piece that you can't see from that direction. You have to stand where I'm standing and look down. They've actually wrapped this around. There's a really big gaping concave design right here, and that makes it look as good as it does from your angle. Now, when you walk up to the Prius with the key in your pocket, you just have to touch the front of the passenger or driver front door handles and will unlock your Prius. When you walk away, there are 2 lines. You simply touch it, you walk away, and the vehicle will lock. Now, this is the first Prius to have a fixed panoramic sunroof. You can't open it. Another glaring piece about this Prius is how large this back door is. The length of it is definitely longer than anything in its class. It is very, very long. And if you're wondering where the door handle is, it is up here. I simply just touch it. There's a little pressy thing on the inside. I press it, and then this door unlocks. Pretty wide opening. To the back of the Prius. What do you guys think? Pretty cool, right? It's actually pretty cool. I like this split. You've got this long glass up top here, just like an Integra, so it's a hatchback. I like how they have a black spoiler, but then on the bottom of it, they have these little lines, and that reminds me of Porsche. Yep, these little lines. That is cool. And then you have a full-length LED rear bar. Then you have Prius, Prius, in a slightly different color, like the graphite in the front. And then you have the OHEV, and this is on all Priuses now. That's indicating that Toyota is moving forward with electrification in many different ways. You have the battery electric, you have a plug-in electric, you even have a hydrogen vehicle. Yep, Toyota is committed to being cleaner for their customers. Moving down from there, you have the Parktronic, and then of course you have 2 cameras hiding, and they're not down here, they're actually right there. Front seat of the all-new Prius. Okay, so let's start at the door panel here. You have 2 memory seats. You have the smoothest, most flowiest front windows when you put them up and down. They're very firm, on target, and go whoop, whoop. They're like amazing. Great front windows. Really odd thing to say, but I did notice that when I was driving on the highway, putting my windows up and down when I had the circulation off and I was passing by a really poopy farm. Nonetheless, I do have heated front wipers. By hitting this button, it heats the front wipers so that when it's all snowy, it melts it. I do have heated steering wheel, and of course there's a button to pop the trunk and of course pop the gas tank. I do have in front of me a sort of weird looking display that's supposed to double up as a heads-up display. Now I sit in a good position so I can see it. It tells me my tach, it tells me if I'm in the energy flow, and it tells me all of the information that most vehicles will tell you. Except, depending on how you sit in the seat, this steering wheel can actually block that, which could be weird. So if you want to buy a Prius, get into one and test drive it and see if that affects you. Now the steering wheel does have all the information you need to adjust things. So on the left, I do have all the phone stuff along with the volume controls. And on the right, I do have stop and go, keep in your lane, that kind of stuff. On the right side, I have a big screen that is really, really easy to use. And when you have CarPlay on, it pretty much takes up the whole screen, which is nice as opposed to having a half screen or a split screen. You can also set it in energy flow so you can see how much battery power you have left and see where the power is going when you're in regen and simply on the brakes. Now I do like the fact there is the volume control for the passenger on the passenger side and not on the driver's side. A lot of vehicles should put it right here. I prefer it in the middle, to be honest, but I'm okay with it on the right side because I have my volume shifter right on the steering wheel itself. So it's cool that the passenger has their own volume. Now moving down from there, I have ambient lighting. This is blue, and when a vehicle moves in front of me, it pulsates, letting me know, well, buck up, buddy, let's move. Down from there, you have your HVAC controls. In this shiny piano black is where you have your heated and ventilated seats for the driver and the passenger on this LTD model in Canada. You do have 3 increments each, and then down from there you have your HVAC controls. Now you only have a single zone HVAC climate control in the Prius, no more, no less. And then down from there you have USB-C, a USB-C, and then a cigarette plug, including this little tray, which I thought was a wireless charger, but it is not. It is a hidden compartment underneath. It even says it, hashtag hidden compartment. There is a wireless charger though, and it's probably in the best place I've seen in the car business. It is right here. It's simply a slider. You slide your phone in sideways and it charges up. I really like that, Toyota. Thanks for thinking about it. Now next to the wireless charger, you have this little itty bitty shifter that is the same as the Lexus RX 350h we reviewed. And then down from there, you have your different drive modes. You have, when I push them, you get custom, sport, normal, and eco. Then you have EV mode, your brake hold, electromechanical parking brake, and then your stability program. Now, this little armrest here deserves more padding. It has a little bit up top. You can see that they put one little extra strip over here, and then it doesn't have anything around this edge here, which is kind of silly because your elbows are an important part of your body. When I lift this up, I do have a small amount of space, sort of similar to, say, a tissue box, and I do have 2 USB-Cs in there. So 4 in total in the front cabin and 1 wireless charger. Back seat of the Toyota Prius. Now let me show you how to put these seats down. This does have a 60-40 configuration. This is the 40. I put it down, has a very, very flat floor that matches up to the back. Now when I lift this up and I move the seatbelt out of the way, it has more Easter eggs. It says hashtag safety first. Yep, telling you, reminding your kids. Now when I sit in the back here, okay, I do have a little bump here. Not a huge bump, but I do have a small little bump. I do have heated seats on this side and this side. 2 buttons only, single increments. I do have 2 USB-Cs on the bottom, and everything back here feels kind of normal. I do have, though, a sunroof. This is a dual panel sunroof. Okay, let's pull this down. Let's see how much space we got. Armrest feels good. I'm in the exact position as I would be driving. I am 5'9", and this is how much room I have. There is a lot of room. As far as headroom, pretty decent considering the way this car is shaped. So yeah, that's it about the back seat. Now let's open up the trunk lid of this Toyota Prius and see how much room we have. Now as far as depth goes, we have 32 inches, and as far as width, we have 35 inches. Not too bad. Now, see if we can open up this floor, and what do we got here? We have some storage, and of course you have your tire repair kit over there. Now, as far as storage, it's a little bit cramped, just the design of the car. There's not too much room that you have here. Now you do have this little tunnel soft thing that you can move, but it's still not very high. You get a decent amount of depth, but just keep that in mind when you're looking at a Prius on how much room you will need in your trunk. You do have some storage on the left here and some on the right, but not a whole lot. Now, if the key is in your pocket and you want to walk away from the car and lock the tailgate, well, you have a button here that you can do so. The other thing I did notice, it's a little bit slow for a tailgate. Now, when I hit it, look how slow it is to come down. Seems fair, but it's still going. Still going. Now it's done. Now, first impressions driving it, if I didn't know what car this was, I would definitely say it's a sportier car because I sit pretty low. I definitely don't sit like an SUV, I don't sit up high. I'm sitting with the car at the same level as the car. I'm not sitting on top of the car, I'm not sitting like I'm getting sucked in by the car, if that kind of makes any sense. This chassis is definitely stiffer than the last generation. I drove the last generation and it felt really wobbly. This one feels more direct. My steering is more on point, and this windshield has the same rake as the Lexus RC500, which means the slope of it is that exact same pitch. And that makes it more slippery, because if you look at the outside, it looks like a bullet in my opinion. It's very sharp, angular. It is obviously lower and wider than the last model. You can definitely see it by just visually looking at the cars. And if you do opt for this $610 solar sunroof, you can get between 1 and 3 kilometers worth of range. I'm really happy with the suspension. On the front you have McPherson struts, and on the back you have a fully independent multi-link suspension, and you can tell at this price point I'm happy that they have it there. That doesn't feel like lethargic. It gives the people that buy these things a little bit more sportiness to their drive. Now, every Prius comes with what Toyota calls Safety Sense 3.0, and that gives you forward collision, it gives you pedestrian detection, automatic emergency braking, gives you like lane assist, gives you safety exit assist, which when you're trying to open the door and there's a car coming, it'll kind of tell you. So we have 4 cars to review this week, and one thing that really pops out when I jump into this Prius is, of course, fuel mileage. This averages 5 liters per 100 kilometers based on the way I was driving. Highway and then a little bit of city here. I don't exactly drive like, you know, the most caring when it comes to fuel economy. So I will say 5 is really good considering that everything else we're driving is like in the 10s to 15s. So let's talk about it. The Acura Integra Type S is giving me about 11 liters per 100 kilometers. The BMW X6 with the 4.4 in it is giving me about 20. This gives me 5. That's 4 times cheaper the exact same way I drive. Obviously, I'm moving faster than that. The other thing I like about this Prius is it's kind of a game. When I'm looking in front of me, it says Eco Zone and Eco Score. It's like it's scoring me to basically be a better or more efficient or economical driver. And I kind of like that. So I just slowly let my foot off the gas and I drive slower because it's like a game. And I think that's a cool thing. You're like competing against the car on being frugal with fuel. That's kind of a cool thing. Now I have to remember this is a Prius, and I will say that the seat's not too bad. It's fairly decent. I mean, it's got the sporty look up here. It is heated and ventilated, so that's cool because I have the ventilation on. It's boiling outside. But the only real complaint I would talk about is really the rear visibility. Just the design of it in the back. There's a pretty big blind spot left and right. Just the way the trunk is designed. You can kind of see it over there. It's pretty big. It's pretty big, so you have to kind of be cognizant of what's around you. Now, they do have this rear view mirror camera that kind of takes care of a little bit of that, you know, issue that you can see, but I still think you kind of have to be aware of your surroundings. I don't think you can just drive this thing, look straight, and then be like, okay, well, I'm gonna turn my head and I'm good here. Now, all in all, I'm pretty impressed with the new Prius, especially its outside design. I like the outside, and on the inside, of course, they've updated the screen, and some of the touches in here are nice for sure. With this cool sunroof feature, that would be awesome, just to be able to charge it by leaving your car outside. It'll save you some money over the years. So that's my review of the 2023 Prius Hybrid, not the Prime. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.